Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and we're driving through Keystone, South Dakota. This is early September 2020, on our way to Mount Rushmore for about our third visit to Mount Rushmore. I've mentioned in some of my other videos, we visited South Dakota in 2012, and then last year in 2019, and this year with everything going on, we wanted to go somewhere. We wanted to go somewhere where we could do a lot of driving around and not really getting out of our car much. And we thought South Dakota would be perfect. And we had such a good time here last year that we wanted to go and do this again. If you're interested, you can... I did put up a couple of videos. They're long. But I put up a video from 2012 and then just a video from 2019 of our trips there. That used to be a Keystone post office on the right, just for what that's worth. I stopped there in 2012. I'm not sure where the post office is now, but I just recognized that. Lots of cute little shops right here through Keystone as we're going towards Mount Rushmore. A lot of people stay in Keystone who are coming down just to see Mount Rushmore in this area. We like Rapid City. They've got the Hotel Alex Johnson, and if I haven't already, I'll put up a video about our stay at the Hotel Alex Johnson. Great old historic hotel with some pretty direct connections to Mount Rushmore and the area. And I love that hotel, so more on that one later. But yeah, we're driving to Mount Rushmore right now through Keystone. Up here on the left, it's probably just a little bit out of view. There's the Gutzon Borglum Museum, the sculptor of Mount Rushmore. There's kind of a tribute to him. And then there's also the wood carver up here. I can't think of his name right now, but they do some crazy, huge, and really cool looking sculptures out of wood, carvings out of wood, kind of chainsaw art kind of stuff. And it's really spectacular. And it's definitely worth a look when you're driving through here. You should stop and check that out. But yeah, we are driving to Mount Rushmore. And again, there's not a whole lot I can tell you about Mount Rushmore. Everybody knows about it. But I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite spots. We've felt the need to go here several times. If you're going to be in South Dakota and you don't have time to actually go to the visitor center and all that, you can see it from the road. You can get some really good looks at it from the road. And I know a lot of people will go and not even bother with going to the visitor center. They'll just go and drive around, and you know, if you go on the Needles Highway, there's all sorts of tunnels, and if you're driving in the right direction, basically as you go through each tunnel, you're looking directly at Mount Rushmore. So that's something really cool to do. It is $10 to park once you get to the visitor center, but I think that's a small price to pay to get a good look at Mount Rushmore. And there it is coming up. Again, you can get all sorts of good glimpses of it from the road at good angles. We're going uphill too, by the way, and these people on bicycles, man, must be in great shape. We noticed them on the way up. I mean, I might be able to push a bike up a hill like that, but riding one, that's impressive. But yeah, Mount Rushmore started. They started working on that, I want to say in the 30s, finished it in the 40s. It's just something pretty spectacular. You don't hear about people working on projects like this anymore, other than the Crazy Horse Monument, about 10 miles away. You just don't hear about people tackling projects like this much anymore. Again, September 2020. You'll see a good mix of people with masks on, some without. And the social distancing thing here right now is kind of out the window, really. Especially with people, just kind of standing around and not paying attention. But, I think when people are on vacations, you get excited. You're not really thinking. But at least things are outside here, and I'm just kind of panning around. Gift shop over there. There's a little restaurant and stuff over to the right. The Avenue of Flags, walking towards Mount Rushmore. We actually weren't going to stop at the visitor center on this trip. We still plan to come out and do some Mount Rushmore stuff. But when we were here in 2019, they had actually closed off a whole lot of the walk-in areas because they were doing some construction. And we had heard they had opened some of those trails back up. On this particular day, though, they had not. There weren't many places to really walk around like we did in 2012, and that may have been weather influenced. A bit of snow came in through here a day or two before this visit, and I think they might have closed off some of the trails because of weather. Not sure about that, but we just kind of assumed it. Also, the gift shop we passed up back behind us a little bit. There used to be a fella who would sign books. He had a book he wrote and he would sign them in there, and he was the last living person who had worked on sculpting Mount Rushmore. And his name was Nick Clifford. Mount Rushmore worker. I actually just grabbed his book. Got a couple of copies. It was a little book. I think he sold it for about $12. And, just a nice little paperback book. And it was Nick talking about his time working on Mount Rushmore. And Nick died. He died at the age of 98, I believe. And he died just several months ago. I remember hearing about it on the news, and it really bothered me because I got to meet him a couple times. I bought his book from him each time I met him. And I gave one of my copies away to a friend. But the last living worker passed away not too long ago, and that was really sad. At the Mount Rushmore Society in Rapid City, they actually still have some signed copies of his book available. So if you're interested, and you should be, because that's awesome, they still have them. And I bought a couple of extra copies while I was there on this trip. Speaking of the Mount Rushmore Society, and their gift shop is in this little building that we're in right now. Again, they're doing work all over this park. But there's a Mount Rushmore Society gift shop that's here. And there's also one that's walking distance from the Alex Johnson in Rapid City. We went there one morning, and I ended up talking to a couple of really nice ladies. One of them was Diane. She's the president I believe she's the president of the Mount Rushmore Society. But she was really helpful, really sweet, and she talked me into joining the Mount Rushmore Society. And it's, I think it's $35 to join. You get a 15% discount at their bookstore. And you get some other information, but I thought, what the heck? I want bragging rights to be a member of the Mount Rushmore Society. That sounds kind of exclusive. So I bought a membership, and I bought a couple of extra copies of Nick's book since they still had some signed. One of them I'm going to give to my buddy Mark. The other one I'm going to keep around just so I know that I've got a couple for myself. But I thought that was pretty neat. Something else that one of the main things I wanted to do when I came here on this particular day, or on this trip, they also sell bookends. Borglum, who sculpted Mount Rushmore, actually made 4 bookends, one for each of the presidents on Mount Rushmore. And he sculpted these gorgeous bookends, and he signed them on the side, and he made molds of them, and he would give these bookends to his buddies for Christmas. And I think that's awesome. So on our previous trip, I bought Teddy and Abe. And I love those bookends. And then on this trip, my mom, my very kind, sweet mom, told me for Christmas she'd like to buy me the other bookends. So I bought the other 2 to complete my set on this trip, thanks to my mom, early Christmas present. And they did not have them at the Mount Rushmore Society, but they told me that the Mount Rushmore Society bookstore here at the national park would. So we drove down to the national park, hung out for a few hours, went to the bookstore, and I carried out 2 gorgeous bookends with me. And Diane and her friend were actually at the bookstore at the national park too, so we got to bump into them a couple of times on this trip, which was great. We're leaving the national park, just a couple of parting shots of Mount Rushmore. And then we started a little drive along, I think this is the start of the Needles Highway. It's just a really nice scenic drive to take. And you kind of get to Custer Park and all that good stuff through here. But you got these whirling, swiveling, corkscrew bridges that I think are just really fascinating. My camera's rolling around. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I wanted to clarify real quick about those bookends. They don't sell the actual bookends that Borglum made himself at the gift shop. But I believe they are made from his molds. So, I mean, you are getting something Borglum made, kind of indirectly, but he still sculpted those. They're still using his molds. And, as a fan of books, a fan of Mount Rushmore, national parks, and Borglum, I think that's about the coolest souvenir you can take home. And I just wanted to mention that. So anyway, I hope this video makes you want to take a little trip down to South Dakota and to see Mount Rushmore.